In the quiet hours of the night, when the world outside his window was draped in shadows, and the soft hum of distant traffic faded into a lullaby, She drifted into a realm far beyond the confines of his earthly existence. The moment his eyelids fluttered shut, he felt himself being lifted, as if a gentle breeze had wrapped itself around him, carrying him away from the familiar confines of his room, away from the bustling life of his father, the enigmatic Elon Musk, and into a space that felt both foreign and intimately known. At first, he was surrounded by a blinding light, so pure and radiant that it made the sun seem like a dim candle in comparison. The light enveloped him, warm and inviting, and he felt an overwhelming sense of peace wash over him. It was a sensation unlike anything he had ever experienced, a weightlessness that freed him from the burdens of reality, where worries and fears evaporated like morning mist under the sun's gentle touch. He floated, suspended in this ethereal glow, and as he did, he felt a profound connection to something greater than himself, something vast and infinite. As the brightness began to coalesce into shapes, X found himself standing on a path paved with shimmering stones that sparkled like stars. The ground beneath him felt soft and yielding, as if he were walking on clouds. He looked around, and the landscape unfolded like a painting bursting with color. Lush fields stretched endlessly, dotted with flowers that danced in hues he had never known, blues deeper than the ocean, reds more vibrant than a sunset, and yellows that glowed like the sun itself. The air was filled with a sweet fragrance, a blend of jasmine and something else he could not quite place, but it was intoxicating, wrapping around him like a warm embrace. In the distance, he saw structures that seemed to defy the laws of physics. Buildings spiraled into the sky, their surfaces glistening with iridescent colors that shifted as he moved. Some were tall and slender, reaching up as if trying to touch the clouds, while others were wide and inviting, with archways that beckoned him closer. He felt an urge to explore, to discover what lay within, but something held him back, a sense that he was meant to observe rather than intrude. As he wandered along the path, he encountered beings of light, their forms shifting and changing, sometimes resembling people, other times taking on shapes that felt more like ideas than physical entities. They radiated warmth and love, their laughter echoing like music in the air. X felt an overwhelming sense of belonging, as if he were among friends he had known for eternity, yet had never met. They reached out to him, their hands glowing with a soft luminescence, and he felt their emotions wash over him: joy, compassion, understanding. It was a language without words, a communion of souls that transcended the limitations of speech. Then he came upon a river that flowed with liquid light. It sparkled and shimmered, reflecting the colors of the landscape around it. He knelt beside it, entranced by the way the water danced and twirled, and as he touched its surface, he felt a surge of energy flow through him. Images flashed before his eyes, memories of laughter shared with his family, moments of wonder as he explored the world, and even fleeting glimpses of the future, where possibilities stretched out like the horizon. Each vision was imbued with a sense of purpose, a reminder that every experience mattered, that every heartbeat was a note in the symphony of existence. As he gazed into the depths of the river, he saw reflections of those he loved, his father, his mother, and siblings, their faces illuminated with joy. He felt a longing to reach out, to connect with them, to share the beauty of this place. But as he did, the river began to swirl, and the reflections shifted, morphing into silhouettes of figures he had never seen before. They were ethereal, their features indistinct yet somehow familiar, as if they were echoes of souls who had walked the earth long before him. Their presence filled him with a sense of awe, and he understood, in a way that transcended language, that they were guardians of the realm, protectors of the light. Suddenly the landscape shifted again. The bright colors began to fade, replaced by a more muted palette of soft pastels. The sounds of laughter and music softened into a gentle hum, and the beings of light began to gather around him, their expressions serene, yet filled with an intensity that made his heart race. They held out their hands, inviting him to join them in a dance that felt both spontaneous and sacred. As they moved, he felt the rhythm of the universe pulse through him, a heartbeat that resonated with the very essence of life. Each step was a celebration, each twirl a release of joy, and he lost himself in the moment, surrendering to the flow of energy that connected them all. In the midst of this dance, a figure emerged from the crowd, a being radiating a light that was both blinding and comforting. It approached him, and he felt an overwhelming sense of recognition, as if he were staring into the eyes of someone he had known forever. The being reached out, and when their hands met, a surge of warmth enveloped him, flooding his being with love. In that moment, he understood that this was a representation of his own spirit, the essence of who he truly was, unburdened by earthly concerns and limitations. The being spoke without words, and yet he understood perfectly. It conveyed the importance of love, of connection, of embracing the beauty of existence. X felt tears welling in his eyes, not of sadness, but of profound gratitude. He realized that heaven was not just a place, it was a state of being, a consciousness that existed within him and within everyone he loved. It was the laughter shared over breakfast, the quiet moments spent reading together, the adventures that stretched across the universe, a tapestry woven with threads of joy, sorrow, and everything in between. As the dance began to slow, he felt an urge to hold on to this moment, to etch it into his memory forever. But he could sense the transition approaching, a gentle tug that reminded him that all dreams must eventually come to an end. The beings of light began to fade, their forms shimmering like stars in the night sky, and he felt a pang of loss, a longing to stay in this beautiful realm just a little longer. Yet, deep down, he understood that this experience was a gift, one that would stay with him long after he awoke. With one last glance at the river of light, he turned to the being who had shown him so much. Their eyes sparkled with love and understanding, and he felt a promise in that gaze, a promise that this connection would never truly be severed, that the love he felt here would always be a part of him, guiding him through the challenges of life. He took a deep breath, inhaling the essence of this place, and as he exhaled, he felt himself being pulled back, the familiar weight of his body returning to him. He awoke with a start, the morning light filtering through his window, casting soft patterns on the walls. For a moment he lay still, trying to grasp the remnants of his dream, the vivid colors and the laughter still echoing in his mind. The warmth of the beings, the beauty of the landscape, and the profound love he had felt lingered like a sweet melody in his heart. As he sat up, he looked around his room, the reality of his life settling back in, yet he felt different somehow, transformed by the experience. He rushed to find his father, bursting into the room where Elon was already immersed in his work, surrounded by screens and blueprints. The look of surprise on his father's face quickly turned to curiosity as he listened intently to X's animated recounting of his dream. X spoke with fervor, his words tumbling out in a rush, describing the shimmering stones, the river of light, and the beings of love. He shared the emotions that had surged through him, the sense of belonging and purpose that had enveloped him like a warm blanket. Elon listened, captivated by the depth of his son's experience. He could see the wonder in X's eyes, the way his spirit seemed to glow with the remnants of the dream. It reminded him of the times he had gazed at the stars, pondering the mysteries of the universe, and he felt a swell of pride for the imaginative mind of his child. In that moment, he realized that the world they inhabited was filled with possibilities, and that the essence of heaven could be found in the connections they forged, in the love they shared. As they sat together, father and son, a bond forged in that surreal dream began to deepen. X felt a newfound understanding of his place in the universe, a realization that he could carry the light he had encountered within him, no matter where life took him. And as Elon watched his son, he too felt a flicker of hope, a reminder that amidst the chaos of innovation and ambition, the most profound truths often lay in the simplest moments of love and connection. Together they embraced the day, knowing that the essence of heaven was not just a dream, but a reality they could create together.